which we're going to start off. Oh, you can sit there. Where's my timekeeper? I've asked Nick Connor to be our timekeeper tonight. He's one of our resident YRs and activists. We're going to allow a 2-minute opening statement, and whenever we get to the questions, 1-minute answer, and if I deem necessary, for a 30-second rebuttal, and then 2-minute closing. So I guess we start off with Cindy.
Good evening. I'd like to thank you for inviting me here to this evening so I can introduce myself to you. My name is Cindy Williams Kennedy, and as you know, I am running for the office of the Rogers County Clerk. I've lived in Rogers County my entire life. I was blessed to be raised in a wonderful family. My mother, Patsy Williams, and my father was retired Chief T.S. Williams, and I have an uncle who was the police chief, Toby Williams. They were both respected community leaders and taught me as I was growing up to treat the community as part of your family, treat it with integrity and with respect. I am just shy of 40 years working in the title industry. I am a licensed abstractor and a real estate escrow officer. I also worked for 4 years in the county clerk's office. And in all of my duties, I've always worked in conjunction with the office of the county clerk. This experience has given me an overall understanding of the internal process of the county clerk's office, as well as the opportunity to develop the skills necessary to operate the county clerk's office in an organized and efficient manner. I'd like to close by saying that I am prepared to bring my experience, my integrity, and my leadership with me to the office of the Rogers County Clerk, and to always be an active and accountable employee for the citizens of Rogers County. Thank you.
I've got to mention that Nick will hold up a yellow card when you're at 15 seconds and a red when you're at out of time.
Okay, perfect.
I am Holly Baker. I would like to be your Rogers County Clerk. Many of you who are here know me in my capacity as the current elected clerk and treasurer in Heidlage. I also serve there basically as most everything. I'm a purchasing agent, payroll clerk, benefits coordinator, you name it, aside from the fact that I don't want to carry a gun. I do the work there. My husband, Jason, and I both graduated from high school in Heidlage. We've raised our children there. My oldest 2 daughters have graduated there. We've got 3 young ones there that are going to school there. We've always been active in our community. I enjoy my job as a clerk, treasurer at this point in the public service, but I also enjoy volunteering, so we do a lot of that. We sit on a lot of boards and volunteer with the senior citizens and anything that arises that can use our help in the community. As the county clerk, I would promise to provide proven leadership. I have managerial experience for the last 20 years of my life. I would focus on transparency and accountability and accessibility. I think those things are important. I'm very well versed in the Open Meetings Act and the Open Records Act. I understand how those things govern meetings and why they are there. I will maintain and improve records information and preservation systems. I would also like to really assess what's there and figure out how we can streamline things and make things more available and more understandable to people. And I'll focus on cost effectiveness of current programs and use available technology to improve them. I have the experience and enthusiasm to do the job, and I can't wait for your vote.
Hi, my name is Jeanne Heidlage, and I too am a candidate for Rogers County Clerk. I say I'm a lifelong resident of Rogers County. We moved here when I was 7, when I was 5. I grew up in Heidlage on a small dairy. I'm one of 7 children, and my siblings and I all graduated from Heidlage High School. I married Bob 31 years ago. We moved to Claremore to the big city, where we've raised our 3 children. Very proud of my children. I have 3 grown children, a police officer, a nurse, and a law student. So it's a good time. They're on their own and kind of self-sufficient, so it's time for me to give back to the community. I started working for the county commissioner 6 years ago. District 1 is his assistant. Didn't know a lot about county government, got interested in it, and it became a passion. Through assisting him, I received all the certifications for a county commissioner. So actually, I laugh, I'm qualified to be a county commissioner. Not only certification, but accreditation, which means you take the class, take the test, and pass it with an 80% proficiency. In March, I took the county clerk's class because I'm pursuing this office. I want to know what it's about. Because a county clerk is a lot more than land records. The county clerk is the manager of the county. If you have a wheel, the county clerk is the hub, and everything goes through the county clerk. A lot of people don't know that our military discharges are kept in the county clerk's office. A lot of things happen. Budgets start in the county clerk's office. Open meetings, minutes, agendas. Lots of things happen in the county clerk's office. I know what the job is, and I'm ready to do it. Thank you.
I'm going to ask Candace, go ahead and stay over there, and whenever they're answering, just go ahead and stand up. First question is a pretty easy one, but it's usually one of the first ones that people ask. How long have you been a Republican, and why are you a Republican? And I will go ahead and start back on the other side with Jeanne.
Okay. I have been a Republican since last August. In 1980, when I graduated from high school in Rogers County, you had to be a Democrat to vote. So we all registered as Democrats. The tide has changed. I've always voted the person, never the party. I'm smart enough to listen to people and to be able to assume who is going to be the best in that role. A year ago, not knowing what the environment was going to be in the county clerk's office, I thought it was best for me, as many other elected officials, to change parties because I want to serve the citizens of this county, and I didn't feel like I could do it the other way. So I've been a Republican since last August, but I'm just a smart person who votes for the person.
I've been a lifelong Republican. The reason, of course, I was raised with very conservative values. My parents were very conservative. They were Republicans. And grew to understand that that was the way I wanted to raise my children. That's the way I wanted to live. It's the environment I wanted to raise children in. So for me, I think the reason I'm Republican is because I enjoy the camaraderie, the family, the values that come with being conservative. Not to say that she's exactly right. 20 years ago, you had to be a Democrat. I don't believe there should be any kind of partisanship in serving as the clerk. However, that being said, I do believe that I want to be honest and upfront with my constituents from the beginning and let them know I'm a Republican, I will be a Republican.
I became a registered Republican 5 or 6 years ago. I too, like Jeanne, when you were born and raised here, everything was Democrat. If you wanted to vote or if you wanted to have a say in anything, you had to be a Democrat. But as I got older and got more into politics, I was actually voting a split ticket also because I would vote for the person that I thought could do the job. And I just 5 or 6 years ago, I decided just to go ahead and make it permanent on paper so that I could be proud of the party that I represent, so.
Next question is, I think some of you may have already somewhat answered it in your opening remarks, but what have you done to prepare for the office? We'll start with Holly.
Well, first and foremost, I'm doing the job. I'm doing the job now on a smaller scale. I'm the current elected clerk treasurer in Heidlage, and I maintain all of our records. I do all of our purchasing. I am the purchase agent. I am the payroll clerk. I am the benefits coordinator. I do all of that stuff already. So for me, the natural progression is to move up and take my skill set to the county. Along with that, you know, I do offer the experience in the other side of it, the land and title side of it, and I offer managerial experience.
Cindy,
Um,
what have you done to prepare for the office?
Well, I think my almost 40 years of experience in the title industry has prepared me for the land records part of it. When I did work in the county clerk's office, I was also trained in the purchasing department. I was also trained of how to handle the incoming bids. And I was also slightly trained in the HR department. So I have experience in all the departments of the county clerk's office from working there and just from my history and my experience in the business.
As I said in my opening statements, I have, as far as the county commissioner standards, I have basic, advanced 1, and advanced 2, all the accreditations along with the certifications. I independently, in March, took the county clerk's course through Oklahoma State University, a 2-day course that's available. I've also shadowed at other county clerk's office to see what they do, what works for them, and how it's best done, to kind of get an overall view of the functions of the office and how to make it work the best. I visit with the school superintendents because they work closely with the county clerk's office. Information is important. The county clerk serves as the liaison between our government and the people to be informed, and so that's what I've been preparing.
Next question is, I guess we'll start with Cindy. Who in the community is publicly supporting or volunteering on your campaign as far as elected officials, well, people that's rooted and well known within the county?
I have spoken with the Home Builders Association, so like the Brett Knapp builders within the community, Mr. Albert from Courthouse Structural. I have talked to Frank Robson. I don't know if Mr. Robson's publicly supporting me, but I've talked to all of them and gotten good feedback from all of them.
Do you want to know, I mean, public support, I can tell you where signs are. Contributors, that's kind of a vague
I'm not going to ask for
question.
contributors. If people want that, they can go to.
Right, if they look at the ethics report.
Right.
Frank Robson, Phil Albert, Jim Thomas, Scott Walton, Tracy Greedy. How about, there's a whole list. I mean, I'm trying to think of signs where, you know, every place that I've been allowed to put a sign. Wanda Sanders in the Heidlage community, Winnie K. Ingersoll in the Inola community. Please look at my ethics report because they're all listed there.
Right.
I mean, it's just come up.
I was asking as far as your endorsements.
Endorsements, Lee Keener, Dr. Keith Ballard, and Jason, as far as public endorsements.
All right. Holly?
My public supporters at this point would be, you're not asking for contributors, correct? You just want to
Right.
first. Okay. Locally in Heidlage, of course, I have a lot of support there because that's where my job is and I work with a lot of them. So I have our mayor and Northwest Fire Chief, Matt Shopley. I have all of our board members, some of which are here tonight. Our chief of police, Peter Moore. I also have those very same supporters out of the Talala community. Out of Inola, Mr. Carl Carson. I have, of course, my mother-in-law, Kathy Baker. I have also Wanda Sanders, Carolyn Estes. Endorsements right now are coming from, Mr. Parson has already publicly endorsed me, and each of the individuals that I work with personally in my community.
Next question is, in your professional opinion, what changes in office operations would you make to the current administration? I think I've lost track, and I think I was talking to Jeanne on this next one.
Will you repeat the question one more time?
In your professional opinion, what changes in office operations would you make in the current administration?
Right now, it's hard to see without going in when you're not a part of that office every day. It's hard to know what to do. But to be able to evaluate the office, it needs to be accessible. It needs to be friendly. Customer service needs to be utmost. It's the people's office. People walk in there, they need to be greeted, they need to be serviced and helped. Accountability when errors are made, and I will assure you, there are going to be errors made, no matter who takes the office, but you own it, you make the changes necessary to prevent it from happening again, and you go forward. Hours. I've even looked at some other places of extending hours. People work 8 to 5. It's hard to get to the courthouse when you work an 8 to 5 job Monday through Friday. So, maybe looking at the option of a Thursday night late like the banks have gone to. Just to make the office more user-friendly and more the people's office. And that may be digitizing things where things are more accessible online as well.
I agree 100% with Jeanne on this one. It should be a customer service oriented office. Beyond that, I also agree that my very first step would be to go in and assess what's going on there, what processes and systems they're using right now, how they can be streamlined, how they can be made more efficient, how they can be made more available to citizens. In my campaign, I have found there are very few people in this county who have any idea what goes on in the county clerk's office. They have no idea, aside from the fact that you file an abstract there, they're not aware. And I'd like to make sure that we utilize what we have, the website for the county, for example, there's a page there, to kind of educate the public on what those things are, what goes on there, and provide resources to help them more easily access the office, so that when they come in, it is not a daunting task to file what they need to file and get information they need to have.
And at the time of the current elected officials exiting, there is an audit done by the state auditor's office. Those items on there will certainly be handled in the emergency order to take care of what the state auditors were requested to be taken care of. Then also, just once I'm in office, just kind of assess the office itself, its procedures. The employees, make sure that they are knowledgeable and understand the process and what they are supposed to do. Just make the office efficient and make sure that it's organized and accessible to the public. And try to use the IT department to make sure everything is accessible to the public online.
This next question, I think, ties in a little bit with the last one. What will your first 3 decisions be on your first day? I guess we'll start with Holly.
My first 3 decisions on my first day. A, to arrive and be there and be available. B, spend some time meeting with everyone and finding out what they do and how they do it, what their concerns are, what they would like to see done. Those are important things when you work with 8 or 10 people in an office. It's good to know what their goals are. And I think thirdly, probably just to spend some time in the courthouse and other offices too, meeting the people there, introducing myself to them. I've done that a lot over the past few weeks, but not in an official capacity as the clerk. So I would probably do that.
I too, I would probably meet with the staff, get to know them as well as I can, and introduce myself to them, see what their opinions are about what could be done to help the office run more efficiently, to just try to start get things organized, find the location of everything. Since I haven't been in the new courthouse, I'm not sure, where the current county clerk is keeping records like the DD 214s and the school records. And, okay, show up and know what to wear, right?
I could tell you that, I haven't looked at the calendar, but I think it's January 2nd. Those decisions will be made, but I will start on November the 9th. And that will be the first day the decision-making process begins. I'll evaluate, I'll do everything I can prior to that first day when I take my oath to be ready with the people, with the information that I need to make those decisions that will be critical to keep that office functioning and running from day one forward. So those decisions will be made when I take office, but they will be in the process of being determined through November and December.
Okay. Next question, I think. Try to keep this all track in my mind, which order to keep this in. Why do you want to be county clerk? I believe it's Cindy's turn to start this off.
I want to be the county clerk so that I just want the office to be efficient. I want it to be organized. I spend almost every day in the job that I do right now cleaning up, working with the attorneys, clearing up titles or clearing up problems. It's a big challenge. I'm actually excited about it, and I want to be able to be in there for the citizens so that I can take care of them, answer their questions, and get problems resolved for them, and just try to bring the office up to what they expect out of it. Take care of them.
Working as a commissioner's assistant for 6 years, I worked closely with the county clerk's office and saw the county clerk's office work like it should, and I watched it work how it should not. And last October, I made a conscious decision after talking to people I respect to say, you know what, I think I can do a good job. I think I can do a better job, and I think I can be a good servant for the people of this county. So I decided then to serve. And as I told you, my children are grown, kind of in between. It's time for me to get back in a different capacity, and I've chosen to do it as a county clerk.
For me, I have a passion for public service, and I have found that is even tenfold more since I've started doing the job that I do in Heidlage. I want to do this job because I know that I can do it. I'm already doing it, and I'm doing it very well. I have brought, in many ways, Heidlage out of the dark ages and improved processes, saved money, set up programs. That would be my first and foremost reason. I want to serve the public, and I want to do it in a capacity that I know my skills will benefit the county. Beyond that, I think that I have the experience to do it, and I have the knowledge to do it. I did not decide last October to run. I actually kind of have watched the process, and when it came the day to file, I decided that I probably could offer more experience and a more well-rounded candidate to the office.
Next question, I believe we'll start with Jeanne on this one. How will you contribute to the culture of the courthouse?
Making sure that things run smoothly. Like I said, the county clerk, everything goes pretty much through the county clerk's office. Purchasing, payroll, you name it. They're responsible for elections. Just making sure that the county runs smooth. Citizens are informed, elected officials, employees, everybody is informed and has the knowledge to make the right decisions. Things are done in a timely fashion, and just follow the statutes. Make sure that things are done correctly.
How would I improve the culture of the courthouse?
Or how would you
Contribute to the culture of the courthouse. First and foremost, I think through integrity, availability, accessibility, all of those things that matter and are in in the public's eye much more lately because of other issues within the county. I think beyond that, I'm a fun-loving person. I like to have a good time. I like to do things professionally, but also understanding that, sorry, this fly's killing me. I usually on my eyelashes. I like to have a good time, but understanding that there's a time to be a good communicator and be professional and do the things that need to be done. Like Jeannie said, it is the hub, and you will have contact with virtually every office in the courthouse. I do have the benefit in my job now, thank you, that I already have contact with most of those offices as a municipal clerk and treasurer.
How will you contribute to the courthouse?
I too want to make sure that all of the records and everything in the county clerk's office, I want the past to be the past. I want to take it into the future. I want to just represent the county with integrity, with experience, and just move forward and try to make it the best office I can for accessibility to the citizens and take care of their needs.
And the next question is, describe a time where you had to build a working relationships to get a job. Let's start with Holly.
This is literally most days of my life. I am the only full-time administrative person who works in Heidlage. Beyond that, I service a board who meets only twice a month. So any information that they need, that they obtain to run our entire town comes through me. And any kind of project or research that they need done starts with me. So I would say, honestly, my entire job is doing that on a daily basis, regularly. There's not a time that I'm not bringing people together, bringing information together, and making things happen.
I'm sorry, I totally did not hear the question.
Describe a time where you had to build working relationships to get a job done.
Oh my gosh. In my line of work where I close real estate loans and I have to coordinate with real estate agents and individuals, I do it every day. It's just an everyday thing. It's part of my job.
Jeannie?
I can give you the best example would be at the snowstorm of 2012. We start off with, I work at a county barn and I work the night shift. So the first priority is to make sure the guys are in their trucks, safe, and have communication. Once we get past the storm, then the FEMA work starts. FEMA meets, they have to determine if we've met a threshold, a dollar figure, so that has to be estimated very accurately for purposes of FEMA grants. So we work there, we don't work backwards. We start at the beginning of the storm, we document time, we document hours, we document equipment, and we document it accurately. Therefore, when we get to the FEMA meeting, we meet the requirements, then we are allowed reimbursement to our taxpayers to cover costs that are above and beyond what we would normally incur in a normal day. And I might add, Rogers County's had their fair share of FEMA disasters.
Next question. What experience do you have with preparing budgets? We'll start with Cindy.
In preparing budgets, honestly, I don't have that much experience. However, again, in my daily job, I close transactions anywhere from millions of dollars down, and they all have to balance. They all have to zero out. I mean, it's just, and I have to be accountable for all of the funds and all of the finances that go through there. So I just do it on a daily basis.
Jeannie?
As Commissioner's Assistant, you sat in on the budget process. I was the Chairman's Assistant for 2 years. We did all the budget meetings, met with all the office elected officials to help prepare their budget. OSU offers classes on budgeting. We take those so that we can inform ourselves. But we also, with the budget, what we need to know where you've been so you know where you're going to go. So in about March or April, the elected officials need to know where they are in their budgets so they know where to plan for the next year. And they also need to see the trend from the last 5 years. Where were we? What was happening? And all that experience I gained through working as an assistant to the commissioner as we prepared the budget every year.
I literally just finished preparing a budget at about 6 p.m. yesterday for the town of Heidlage. Heidlage has been very fortunate, and we have a multi-million-dollar general fund. And as treasurer, of course, it's my job to manage that fund all day, every day. That's what I do. I have a deputy clerk who was amazing at teaching me some things in Excel that I could use with in conjunction with our program. But Jeannie's absolutely right. It's not just sitting down and putting some numbers on paper. We've had several working meetings with our board where I sit down and explain to them what we've spent, why we've spent it, what's coming up, what we're going to need, and show them a history of what we have spent, figure out what their vision is going forward, get some formulas worked out and put it all on paper with a budget message and a summary, and it'll be published next week. I couldn't be more excited.
I'm going to go ahead and open this up for questioning from the audience. So if anybody has a question, just raise your hand. I guess while they're thinking of questions, I'll ask you, what experience do you have preparing agendas, attending meetings, taking minutes, typing minutes? I think I'll let it off with, I think it's Holly's turn.
That is what I do. I do that about 4 times a month for our regular board. We have 2 regular meetings a month. Often we have reason, especially right now, completing some capital projects where we're having special meetings as well. I do that. I actually supervise and sometimes do the job in that. On a couple of boards I sit on, I'm the OPT president at Heidlage and president of the soccer club. We're a little low staffed on those, so I do that. It is also my job to make sure that those are posted correctly, to make sure that those are sent out to our board members with all of their information that they need to make decisions on that agenda. And then I also do the agenda and minutes for our planning commission and our board of adjustment.
Cindy?
Actually, when I worked for the county clerk's office, I was trained in how to prepare the agenda and the minutes. All items are turned into the county clerk's office. Then they are put on the they're put on the agenda and posted for the public. And prior to the meeting, so that everyone knows what is on the agenda, they're given to the county commissioners so they can be prepared for the meeting. And so she did train me on how to gather the information and put it on there herself.
As far as I've not prepared agendas, we are lucky in Rogers County that we have an assistant district attorney, civil attorney Ben LePack, who assists in any of the legal wording. It's pretty easy. It's a word format. It's not difficult. Minutes are people get confused with minutes. Minutes are a snippet, a good overview of what happened in the meeting. They're not verbatim. They're not word for word. You and I should be able to read a minute from a meeting and know what happened in the meeting. We don't have to do he said, she said, but it's so that you know what occurred in the meeting. Those minutes also need to be provided to the commissioners or the board prior to the meeting for review. Any changes that need to be made can be made at the meeting, not at the time of the meeting. It's hard to review minutes when you're trying to approve minutes. So I also will record the minutes and have them available online so that anybody who wants to listen word for word, verbatim, can listen to them online at any time.
So I'm going to see if anybody's got any questions.
I'll ask a question then. It's only because it's been asked. in Rogers County now, what does it matter if you're Republican or Democrat, and what's the difference between the two?
I don't,
I'm trying to remember where we left off. I believe it's Cindy.
Okay, and as far as the county clerk's office goes, it's my personal opinion that it doesn't matter. We follow the statutes as set forth by the state of Oklahoma. We have no say in them. We don't write them. We don't have anything to do with them. So, you know, it's not necessary, a party can't make any decision in the office because you are a Republican or a Democrat or an independent. I just, it doesn't really have anything to do with it as far as I'm concerned.
What's the difference between the two? All three.
The difference
in philosophies.
Yeah, but
Points of view,
basically,
philosophies.
I mean, obviously, you chose to run as a Republican, all of you did, for a reason.
Because
Instead of Democrat or independent.
right now the climate in Rogers County
Absolutely.
has to be, you know, and so if it were me, all county politics would be nonpartisan. But in order to serve, you have to go through this process to be a servant. And that's why I was a Democrat and I'm now a Republican, because I choose to serve. If it was nonpartisan, we wouldn't be having this issue. I mean, I could have stayed a Democrat and had an equal chance. But the way the field is right now in Oklahoma, and right or wrong, that's just the way it is.
Is there a difference in the two?
Is it, absolutely, there's a difference in the two. But as far as county government goes, as far
What's the difference?
as county government goes, there's no difference in the office.
In your opinion, what's the difference between Democrat and Republican?
Difference in philosophies,
In
absolutely.
what way? Because there's one big one, I was just curious.
I guess I don't know what you're saying. I guess I'm not sure.
The first question, why did I choose to run as a Republican? Because I've always been a Republican, because I have conservative values, because I too believe that it should be the office should be ran in a nonpartisan way. Once you've taken that office, and you have to deal with everyone in the courthouse, whether they're Democrat or Republican or independent, and you shouldn't treat anyone differently because of their party. However, I do believe that as a Republican, as a lifelong Republican, I do hold conservative values. I use those values every day in my job. I use those values to cut the fat out of our budget. I use those values to make good, solid decisions about what would be best for our town, so that we aren't throwing money at things that don't need to be done. And beyond that, I think that it's the honest thing to do. And I don't know Jeannie from anyone, and maybe her values are exactly the same as mine, but what I also don't know, because she changed parties, is whether or not she will come into the office and revert to Democratic values.
Oh my goodness. I agree. I think it's the conservative values that probably make a difference.
I know Roberta.
And I'll be happy to answer your other question. I ran out of time, but I'll answer your other question after the meeting. Sorry.
Well, I kind of want to get exactly what Chris was saying, because I appreciate you girls, honestly, to run for elected office. It's a lot of work. I've been helping with Jeanne's campaign, and let me tell you, you have to do a lot of door knocking, a lot of, meeting people and stuff and being put on the spot. It's got to be nerve-wracking, and I commend all three of you ladies. But I think it does matter if you are Republican, lifelong Republican, and not. And the reason is because this could be a stepping stone for you ladies to go into another public office, and you stay in the Republican, but you've not been a lifelong Republican conservative. To me, it makes a huge difference. And I'm going to support someone that I know that's going to have my values and my back 10 years down the line. And so, and it's a great stepping stone if you want to go into, local government. And so whoever I support, I want to make sure that that person is going to have my back and my family's back. If my kids are having a house built in this area, I want to make sure that documents and stuff. Now, I know it's a nonpartisan position at this point, but what if you do decide that, hey, I would like to be another elected official or whatever? And so it matters to me. So don't downgrade it thinking it's not, because for someone like myself, it makes a big difference in my decision. And I'm undecided. I've not decided who I'm voting for.
Have you seen politicians in the past cycle switch parties, and have you been pleased with their performance?
To be honest with you, I've not seen anyone switch over, but I've had people that
In
ran.
the last cycle, you didn't see anybody switch parties?
Mark Wayne Mullen thinks he's conservative and he's a liberal.
No,
But as far as any local officials and stuff, I know there's been a lot of scandal. I've, in the past, of
It's not
different
scandal,
positions.
it's public record, I mean, it's public
Right,
record.
right. And I'm not saying that you're gonna make your type of position is you're responsible for all the records of the county, all of them. And that's a big responsibility.
So how does that differ if I'm a Democrat or I'm a Republican? Just asking you.
Well, it matters to me because that means that if you've been a Democrat your whole life, your values may not be the same as mine.
So I won't keep your
lifelong
records as
Republican.
current? So I won't keep your records as accurate if I'm a Democrat, if I was a Democrat? The
Well, I'm
records
not
are the
saying that-
records. The records are the records. There is nothing that can be done partisan-wise for me to discriminate against you or for you to discriminate me in an office where you're just recording documents.
That's
Do you
not
see
all
what I
you're-
mean?
That's not all
Well,
you're
I
doing
think
in a
the
county
tone of
clerk's
the
office. though.
office, because you're the manager
You're
of
not
all
just
the
recording.
employees in the office as well, it does matter to me. I'm sorry.
And I'm sorry, I can't change that. I'm honest. I changed my
Well, I
party because
appreciate
I want to
being
serve,
honest,
and this is
I
not
can
a
tell you,
stepping
I did
stone.
not run for your position.
This is not a stepping
I
stone.
commend you for that, but I just
I'm a
wanted-
Rogers County taxpayer, and it
I
makes
just-
no difference to
it
me
makes a
as long as
difference.
you run that office with ethics. And remember that you're
And that's
spending
good.
taxpayers' money of the county. It doesn't matter what name you want to put on it. You do a good job, and that's what we want.
And it is no stepping
And
stone.
as far as
This is
values
right.
go, I'm, one side or the other does not hold higher values, as far as I'm concerned.
And I respect your
We are
opinions, and I'm not here trying
to
to
work
attack
for
them, I'm
the
just saying that, hey, this
taxpayers,
is how I
the
feel.
hard-working
And I'm
people
undecided,
of
but
Rogers
there's
County,
people
and
not
I'll
wanna vote
appreciate
for
the
it.
job that you do.
All right, so take it back into order here.
You know, I just come here,
I'm more purpose to questions than to statements. Tony, you have a question?
Actually, it was more of a point of order. Ms. Heidlage should have been allowed a rebuttal.
Do what?
Ms. Heidlage should have been allowed a rebuttal.
Okay, need a rebuttal, Ms. Howard?
Absolutely. I didn't come here to to be attacked by,
That turned me on.
I want
felt like
to,
you're-
can
I
I
was just
I
making
just
a
want to
statement.
speak. I just want to serve the citizens of this county, not as a stepping stone. I want to stay in county government. I'm passionate about it. We get smarter people in office by educating the people that are voting for them.
right.
And if it were my choice, I would work with legislature to make it nonpartisan. But I can't do that, and the best way for me to serve is to do this. You don't know me, you don't know my life, but I can tell you I have 3 children. I have a policeman, I have a nurse, and I have a lawyer. We all have values, strong conservative values. I'm an individual. I'm a smart individual, and I vote for a smart person.
Well, and
Thank you.
and honestly, through all 3 of you, I think you're more articulate than the other 3. Does it make you more qualified than the other 3? I mean, the other 2, I'm sorry.
And whatever party you're affiliated with doesn't make you more or less qualified for the position
No,
either.
but it matters to me. That's my personal.
Carl, you have a
opinion.
question?
Yeah, somewhat. Yes, I know what you're talking about. Came into the county 20-plus years ago, 25 years ago. They said, you won't be able to vote like you don't vote Democrat. Well, register as a Democrat. I chose to register as a Republican because I'd rather be related to someone other than Walter Mondale. And so, anyway, but what I'm interested is what thing on the Democrat platform, what position they had made you decide you wanted to be a Republican instead of a Democrat. That's what I'd like to know.
I thought I explained that. I want to serve the citizens of Rogers County, and this was the best way to do that. I'm a smart individual. I can do the job. I can surround myself with smart people. It has nothing to do with whether I'm a Democrat or Republican. I chose to serve the people of this county. And this, unfortunately, is the way it has to be.
So it wasn't nothing that differed on the Democratic platform? It was
No, because
the numbers
I don't know the record, but I've never voted a straight party. I vote for the individual, Republican or Democrat. If I think you're the person that's going to do the best for me and for our country, then that's who I vote for. And I would hope that would happen here. And in order to do that, if I remain a Democrat, it's kind of no hope. And I want that job. I want to be the county clerk, and I was willing to do that to serve the people of this county. And even I knew this was going to be an issue at some point in time, and I welcome that. I understand why you asked, but I'm being absolutely honest with you. I did it to serve the people of this county. I'm still the same person I was last July. I am as conservative, I'm smart, I have a great family, very supportive.
Rogers County is not Washington DC. The people of Rogers County are hardworking people from both sides of the aisle. So don't compare Rogers County Clerk's office to Washington DC, the president, the nominees. You can't apply that here. We're looking for somebody that's going to run an office efficiently and know that they're spending the Rogers County taxpayers' money, which I am one of. And I want the person that's best for the job, regardless of what party affiliation they are.
And what we were asking is why did they become?
Why did they switch?
Why did they come?
Because of the environment in Washington DC and national politics. In Oklahoma, everybody knows what's going on, and everybody knows what that is leading up.
I think we've got the point here. I think this young man over here has a question.
When I ran for board in Heidlage, one of the biggest problems that I seen before I ran was the Open Meetings Act wasn't being properly done right. And I've seen it since then and on other boards since then. My question is what would you do to better the to help with the Open Meetings Act in your seat?
I'm trying to remember where we left off on the line of questioning earlier.
You can have it, I need a break.
I will start with Polly.
The Open Meetings Act is very important, and what Mr. Birch is saying is very correct. In Heidlage, there were people who were not, educated well as to what the Open Meetings Act was, and who were not necessarily trying to meet the spirit of the act. In today's government, and especially in Rogers County right now, that's the most important thing that anyone can do, is to make sure they're abiding by that, make sure that those around you are being held accountable to abide by the Open Meetings and Open Records Act, and to make sure that you're applying the knowledge you have of the act to make not only your office and your county better, but the commissioners and the commissioner's office better, and all of the boards for which you will be responsible as the clerk for preparing agendas and minutes and being responsible for posting those for the general public, and making sure they're educated on what's going on in those meetings.
Cindy?
I think Holly said it well. There's really not much else to say about it. You have to make them accessible to the public. You have to follow the rules of the Open Records Act. And if someone comes in and requests documentation, then they've got to be available, and you've got to give it to them. There should be no arguing about it and no keeping it secret. It is an Open Records Act. Open Records Act. I can't talk anymore. So yeah, I mean, she said it all.
I think the Open Meetings, Open Records is in statute in Title 19. And what that does is to protect the public. It lets everybody know when meetings are occurring that are transacting business of any kind, county business, so that you have an opportunity to be there, to be present, to have a voice. So as long as you know what the guidelines are, in Rogers County we have a civil attorney who's there to assist you if there's any gray area. There's really not, but you err on the side of caution. You know, if you're not sure, you treat it as an open meeting, make it accessible, make it available, let people know that it's occurring, and then it won't be an issue.
Yes.
She's 100% correct, it is in statute. But just because it's written in statute does not mean that all of the county officials that have been elected here are abiding by that necessarily. And you have to know that the people you're electing into office have the integrity, that they are going to stand up for that, even in the face of someone that isn't abiding by that. And they're going to make sure that they're doing their part to make sure the public is protected by those acts.
All right. Anybody else have any questions? I guess if not, we'll go to our closing remark, and we'll have 2 minutes.
I got one more question, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Where do you see yourself in the future? Do you see yourself here in 10 years, or do you see yourself?
12. The
12,
terms are 4
sorry,
years.
12 years. Well, I just used 10, sorry.
Cindy?
I'm sorry.
Where do you see yourself?
Where do you see yourself in 12 years?
Where do I see myself in 12 years? Well, hopefully, I still see myself in the office of the county clerk, keeping it maintained, keeping it run efficiently, and in tip-top shape. That's my plan. I don't plan on going anywhere, but if I get elected anytime soon.
My turn. In 12 years, I would hope to be ready to finish my career as a county clerk, but hopefully have put in place a model that will carry through with the values and the systems that I've set up, and hopefully pass that transition on. But I hope to have grandchildren and travel in 12 years.
In 12 years, I absolutely see myself in county government, probably in the clerk's office. But if I've done what I need to do there, and I have established what needs to be established, and I find that I'm needed elsewhere inside the county government, then I will be more than willing to go there and do that. I have confidence in my abilities to go in and organize and streamline and make more efficient any office. I intend to do that with the county clerk's office. And in 12 years, if I've done that job and it's time to move on, then I will. If I haven't, I'll be there. I'll be there. If I can't turn it over to someone who can keep it as well as I've made it, then I'll stay.
All right, any more questions? Okay, now we'll go to our closing remarks. I guess we'll go in the reverse order of what we started out with our opening remarks. Jeanne, start off with closing remarks.
Thank you all for sticking it out tonight. It's been a pleasure to visit with you. I hope that you take away tonight that I want to serve the citizens of this county. I did what it took to do that. I'll make a great county clerk. I have the knowledge, I have the experience. County government is complex, and my goal when elected is to educate people in this county. So we get smarter people in office by making smarter voters voting for them. So I want to see 200 people in the next forum for county clerk. So thank you for your participation, and have a good evening.
Number 2 is number 2 either.
Right.
I want to thank you guys for coming out. I want to thank Rogers County GOP for inviting me, giving me a reason to wear a white suit jacket. I have a 4-year-old son. That doesn't happen very often. I want all of you to walk away from this knowing that I have a passion for the public service, and I have a passion for this office. And I know that I can do it, and I know that the people who are surrounding me know that I can do it. I possess a skill set that I am very confident will benefit not only the clerk's office, but the rest of the courthouse as I work with them. I intend to use all resources available to me to make that happen. I don't intend to bring in new resources or create costs for the county, but I absolutely intend to take what I've got and make it work better for everyone. I have experience. I have a very well-rounded experience in all areas of the office. I'm incredibly enthusiastic about the job, and I don't do anything in less than an excellent manner. And I promise that I will bring that to the county clerk's office.
And again, I would like to thank all of you for coming out tonight to get to meet us. And I would like to thank Mr. Green for inviting us here again. And just to repeat what I said, I am 100% prepared to go into this office, take my leadership, my knowledge, and make it a workable office, accessible for the public, and to take care of the citizens, and to be in the office at all times and be accountable and available to you when you come into my office. I appreciate it. Thank you.